A dark room, a single bulb flickers. Shadows dance on the walls, alive with secrets. I sit at my desk, papers scattered around me, sketches and notes, remnants of stolen dreams. Betrayal cuts deep. They don't tell you it lingers, it festers, it becomes something else entirely. My cousin, Caleb Mitchell, or what's left of him. This is his story, a haunting tale of betrayal. A warm breeze, sunlight dappled through the leaves. My grandmother's porch held the sweetness of summer. Caleb and I sat, lemonade in hand. My notebook, filled with ideas, lay open. A cursed mirror, I told him, my voice trembling with excitement. It shows your worst fear, waiting to pull you in.
Amazing, Damon. Write that down.
A week passed. I scrolled through social media. My blood ran cold. Caleb's post. A chilling tale of a cursed mirror. My idea. Comments flooded Caleb's post. Genius. Original. My stomach churned with a sickening dread. It had to be a coincidence. Caleb wouldn't betray me. He was my family. We shared everything. The Bible, our dreams, our fears. Days bled into weeks. A constant stream of my ideas, twisted and claimed as his own. The whispers of doubt grew louder. Aunt Linda's house buzzed with family. The rooms were filled with laughter, chatter, and the clinking of glasses. It was a scene of joy and togetherness, a perfect family gathering. The air was thick with barbecue smoke and forced laughter. Despite the smiles, there was an undercurrent of tension, a sense that not everything was as it seemed. Caleb, the center of attention, basked in the admiration of everyone around him. His stories and ideas captivated the crowd.
"Where do you get your ideas?" they asked, eyes wide with curiosity and admiration.
"Damon could learn a thing or two from you," someone joked, laughter following the comment. My face burned with a mix of embarrassment and anger. The words stung more than they should have. Words caught in my throat. My silence screamed louder than any words could. That night, I found Caleb in the den. My voice shook as I confronted him. "The cursed mirror," I began, my voice barely a whisper. "How did you come up with that? How did you come up with that?" I repeated, my suspicion growing.
"It just came to me," Caleb said with a shrug, as if it were the simplest thing in the world.
A cold dread settled in my stomach. The casualness of his response made my heart sink. The shadows in the room seemed to twist, to lengthen, as if they were mocking my despair. "But it was my idea," I whispered, my voice breaking with the weight of betrayal.
"I don't remember, Damon. It just happened," Caleb replied, looking genuinely confused.
My heart shattered. He didn't care. He didn't even remember. My dreams were his trophies, displayed for all to see, while my own aspirations lay in ruins. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The weight of Caleb's betrayal pressed down on me, suffocating. Each stolen idea, a fresh wound. Family gatherings became unbearable. Forced smiles masked the pain. Caleb basking in praise for stories born from my soul. "You're so talented, Caleb. Such imagination." Their words were knives, twisting in my gut. I wanted to scream, to tear down his facade. But what good would it do? No one would believe me. I was just the quiet one, the shadow. One evening, I found Caleb alone. A flicker of hope ignited within me. Maybe he would confess. Maybe he would apologize.
"What is it now, Damon?"
"Caleb," I began, my voice trembling. "We need to talk."
"What is it now, Damon?"
"The stories," I whispered, my hands clenching into fists. "They're mine.
Don't be ridiculous.
But I started, desperate for him to understand, to see the pain he was causing.
Just drop it, Damon. No one cares about your stupid ideas.
His words were poison, seeping into my soul. The hope I had clung to extinguished. I retreated into myself, a prisoner in my own mind. The walls were closing in, the shadows whispering doubts and fears. Why was this happening? What had I done to deserve this betrayal? The pain was unbearable. It consumed me, transforming me into something dark and vengeful. Caleb would pay. He would learn the price of stealing from the shadows. My phone buzzed. Another notification. Caleb the thief had struck again. This time, it was the haunted typewriter, a story I'd poured my heart into. Each keystroke, a piece of my soul, now twisted and paraded as his own. Praise filled the comments. Brilliant, Caleb, you're a genius. Rage coursed through me. My blood ran cold, then hot, a raging fire consuming me from the inside out. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't escape the suffocating truth. He was stealing my life, my dreams, my very essence. I stormed out of my room, a man possessed. Caleb's door stood ajar, a beacon of my torment. He lay on his bed, oblivious, scrolling through his phone, basking in the adoration he didn't deserve.
What, Damon? Do what? Narrator. Why? I choked out, the word a strangled cry. Why do you do this?
The casual indifference in his voice fueled my rage. You steal my stories, my ideas, and then you act like it's nothing?
Caleb laughed, a cruel, mocking sound that echoed in the silence. You're being dramatic, Damon.
Dramatic? I spat the word back at him. You're stealing my life, and I'm being dramatic?
He shrugged, his eyes cold and calculating. Maybe you should just stop sharing your precious ideas if you're so worried about it.
A wave of nausea washed over me. He was enjoying this. He fed off my pain, my desperation. This wasn't just about the stories anymore. It was a twisted game to him, and I was the pawn. You're right, I said, my voice surprisingly calm.
Caleb raised an eyebrow, his smirk faltering for a moment.
I won't share anymore, I continued, my voice a low whisper. No one will ever see my work. No one will ever know my name. I turned to leave, the shadows in the room seeming to cling to me, welcoming me into their embrace.
You'll regret this, Damon, Caleb sneered.
I paused, a slow smile spreading across my face. No, Caleb, I whispered, my voice laced with a chilling finality. You will. As I walked away, the shadows seemed to dance around me, their whispers no longer filled with doubt and fear, but with a dark promise of retribution. The darkness in my room felt different that night. It pulsed with a strange energy, a malevolent hum that vibrated in my bones. Sleep evaded me. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside my window, sounded like whispers, taunting me, urging me forward. Caleb. His smug face, his mocking laugh played on a loop in my mind, fueling the rage that simmered within me. I thought about his words. You'll regret this, Damon. Regret? No. He didn't understand. This wasn't about regret. This was about justice. About reclaiming what was rightfully mine. A scratching sound at my window jolted me from my thoughts. It was a sound so eerie, so out of place, that it sent shivers down my spine. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing like a drum in the silence of the night. The shadows in the room seemed to twist, to writhe, as if coming alive, dancing to a rhythm only they could hear. "Who's there?" I whispered, my voice trembling. Silence answered me, a silence so profound it felt like a presence in itself. But the air felt thick, heavy, charged with an unseen energy, as if the very atmosphere was alive with anticipation. Then a voice, low and guttural, slithered from the darkness, wrapping around me like a cold, invisible snake. "Do you want your stories back, Damon?" the voice asked, each word dripping with malice. I froze, my blood turning to ice, unable to move or even think clearly. The shadows swirled faster, coalescing into a single, amorphous shape, a dark mass that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. "Who are you?" I breathed, fear tightening its grip on my throat, making it hard to speak. The shape shifted, pulsed, and then I saw him, or rather it, a being not of this world. A figure formed of shadows, its eyes glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light, piercing through the darkness and into my soul.
"We are the forgotten," the figure hissed, its voice a chorus of whispers. "We are the echoes of the past, the shadows that linger in the corners of your mind, the discarded, the stolen, the ones who were erased from existence, left to wander in the void."
I stumbled back, my mind reeling. This couldn't be real. My heart raced as I tried to make sense of the apparition before me. It was a hallucination, a figment of my sleep-deprived mind. Or was it? The lines between reality and nightmare blurred.
"We can help you," the figure continued, gliding closer. "We can give you the power to make things right. We can make him pay. The one who wronged you, who took everything from you. He will know what it feels like to be erased, to be nothing."
Terror warred with the simmering rage within me. The offer was tempting, but the cost was unknown. Could I trust this thing, this entity that seemed to know my deepest fears and desires? And what would it cost me? What price would I have to pay for this dark bargain? "What do you want in return?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. The air grew colder as I awaited its response.
The figure stopped, its glowing eyes boring into mine. It seemed to peer into my very soul. "Silence," it whispered. "Your silence. Forever." The weight of its words pressed down on me.
I hesitated, my heart pounding against my ribs. The enormity of the decision loomed over me. Could I live with that? With the knowledge of what I had done? The silence that would follow me for eternity? A deal with the shadows. A pact made in desperation. The price? My voice, my truth. The next morning, Caleb was gone, vanished. His room, empty, clothes untouched. It was as if he had never existed. Our family, bewildered, frantic calls unanswered. Whispers of disappearances, of strange occurrences. "Have you seen Caleb?" Aunt Sarah's voice, tight with worry. I shook my head, a familiar ache in my chest. Guilt? Relief? I couldn't tell anymore. Days turned into weeks. The search for Caleb faded, the whispers dying down. Life went on, a strange hollow echo of what it once was. My stories returned. Ideas flowed, darker now, tinged with the shadows I carried within. My desk, my sanctuary, papers filled with stories. My stories surrounded me, success, recognition, all that I ever wanted. But the shadows remained, longer now, deeper. They whispered of Caleb, of his absence, of my silence. Was it worth it? The price of my freedom, his erasure. The world had forgotten him, but I never could. His face, etched in my memory, a constant reminder of the darkness I held within. The clock ticked, each second a weight on my soul. Sleep offered no escape, only nightmares of Caleb's fading presence. He was gone, and I was trapped, a prisoner in my own success, bound to the shadows that had granted my wish. Some betrayals cut deep, leaving scars that never fade. Others, they consume you whole, leaving behind a chilling emptiness, a void where your soul used to be. Caleb's shadow lived within me now, a constant reminder of the price of vengeance, the shadow of betrayal.